Now, in Japan, voting is underway for parliamentary elections that will determine the next prime minister. The vote is regarded as an early referendum on the newly established administration of Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, who called snap polls after assuming his post on October 1st. The election also marks the first nationwide vote since a wide-ranging slush fund scandal rocked the LDP, dominating the political debate over the past year. PM Ishiba's conservative LDP in government for almost all of the post-war era has had a majority in the lower house of parliament since 2012, ruling in coalition with Komeito, on which it depends to control the less powerful upper house. Opinion polls suggest the conservative LDP and its junior coalition partner risk falling short of a majority, a result that could deal a knockout blow to Ishiba. All right, let's go across to my colleague Anil Thomas. He has more information on this and he's tracking the story. Anil, people across Japan voting today, but opinion polls suggest that the ruling coalition might fall short of a majority. How do you see the contest?
Well, good morning, Abhishek. Well, it seems very much likely if you look at purely, the pre-poll surveys that have come into play. There is a sharp drop in the Prime Minister's rating from 42% to 41%. But purely looking at how the history of Japan has been, the post-war scenario that it is, it's very unlikely that post-2009, it's almost been a 15-year lull that, the present government has managed to hold post. There has been a change in guard, a lot of things being tried. But, the chronic problem of inflation that's affected Japan and the scandals that have rocked this particular government surely puts it on a back foot. And the last time that we've seen it in 2009, but this time around, the numbers don't, there could be a sharp drop in the number of seats that they could lose. And, at this point of time, the present day government has one coalition partner. So there is a likelihood they might lose the numbers, but they would, somewhere look at, making the arithmetic work of getting 233 seats and, look at somehow forming a coalition government. The opposition in 2009, when it managed to push this particular government into the opposition, don't have that kind of strength, but surely it's going to be a close fight to watch out for.
But again, Anil, if the coalition loses its majority, the LDP would need the backing of at least one more party. Tell us about what could likely be the scenario then.
Well, at this point of time, the way things stand, the one coalition partner that the LDF has, does not give them the strength, or purely looking at the pre-poll numbers that have come in, both are likely to lose. One is likely to lose close to 50 seats. The other is likely to lose close to 7 to 10 seats. So that leaves almost, if you take, the fewer numbers, putting those together, you need close to 50 seats to fill up that vacuum that's going to be created to cross the majority line. In that situation, there are almost 3 coalition partners or 3 small political parties that have close to 7, 20 and 23 seats. And, it could be getting more partners on board. If more partners come on board, the headache increases on getting the house in order. That's exactly what, when there was a change in guard, a lot of things being tried to get the house clean, and that's not happened. And the rising cost of living in Japan, and the Bank of Japan trying to tame inflation for a very long time. And, there was a sudden, if you look at the markets, the way the markets have reacted in Japan, there was a sudden inflow of, money entering into the Japanese market along with the Chinese market. And that was seen as a good sign to help the revival of the economy in Japan. With this particular election in place, and if it leaves, all the political parties in a catch-22 situation, it could not go well for the people at large. And that's the bigger cause of concern when one looks at. But surely in terms of political options that the present day order has, 2 or 3 political parties getting more into the kitty could be a headache of then managing the house, because you've got to clean somewhere around. The people in Japan are feeling very unhappy that, this snap poll that has been called almost 1 year in advance, looking to capture that mood and sentiment of the cleanup that the present Prime Minister has done, is somewhere, not gone down well with the people. And I think that's a catch-22 situation. Whenever you order a snap election, it could either go your way or against. At this point of time, unlike what we've seen in 2009, when the opposition managed to dethrone the present-day government, This time the numbers don't look good. And remember, there is a saying, especially in politics, when when the opposition is not strong as the present day government, the only options are, none of the above doesn't click with the people. And I think that's where this particular election looks very much different from what happened in 2009 when there was a change in government. But this time around, the race could be much closer. But I think the present day government has its options of, seeking more partners there and looking to run, in a post-poll scenario where you will have many more parties come and join the government.
All right, Anil, last question before we leave you about the voters. What do you think are the biggest challenges Japan's economy is facing? You spoke about inflation, rising cost of living. Tell us what's at stake and what are the top issues of the voters?
Well, when there was a change in government and the new prime minister was brought in, much was expected of him, especially when it comes to, a cleanup of the house on a large scale that the people were expecting. And the people actually were not ready for the snap elections that's been announced. You're trying to go against the mood of the particular nation, trying to, rather look at political gains over, what the country needs. When the country is facing inflation, a chronic inflation that's affected Japan for long, the Bank of Japan's measures time and again being taken, they have been effective, but, not in that scale where the cost of living has been able to come down. I think, this double whammy that the present day government has tried of having snap elections with inflation, the chronic inflation troubling the people, is actually a too difficult situation that people, generally don't like to get into. So, there could be a feeling, as I said, none of the above options here don't look good. And I think that's where somewhere, even though there is a sharp fall in ratings for the prime minister, things could not be as similar to 2009. They could sail home, but the road ahead is bumpy and surely filled with speed breakers.
All right, Anil, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs.